Hello everybody, welcome back to the Levent English Academy. This is lesson 17 and this is our business English course for A2 to B1 learners. Today we're diving into something you'll often see in meetings and presentations. Charts, numbers and trends, and how to describe them in natural, simple English. But before we start listening to our phrases, let me tell you a quick story. I call it the confusing chart meeting. A few years ago, I was in a meeting where a colleague was presenting our sales chart. He stood up, pointed at the screen and said, so this line goes up and then it goes down a bit, and yeah, that's it. So no one understood the point. People, of course, nodded politely, but you could see the confusion in their eyes. One person even whispered, "What does that mean?" The truth is, the numbers were great, but the explanation, not so much. That's why today we are going to learn how to describe what you see in a chart clearly, confidently, and without boring your audience to sleep. So, part 1. Useful verbs to describe trends. Let's start with some basic verbs. These help you describe movements in a chart. Let's go with the upward movement. You could say sales increased or profits went up. The number of users rose steadily. The past of rise is rose. Or you could say revenue grew by 10%. The opposite, a downward movement, can be expressed with costs decreased, production dropped sharply, or there was a decline in orders, or the figures fell slightly. If there is no big change, you could say, well, the numbers remained stable, there was little change, or the situation stayed the same, or pretty much the same. Try this in a real sentence. You could say, in Q1, sales increased by 15%, but in Q2, they dropped slightly due to supply issues. Part 2, talking about time and results. Now, let's add time expressions to give context. You could say, in January, we saw a big increase in traffic. From March to May, sales remained stable, and over the last quarter, customer numbers rose steadily. Between 2021 and 2022, the company grew by 30%. You don't need complex grammar, just keep it clear and simple. A real-life example could be, if you're showing a chart to your boss, you can say, as you can see, revenue increased in April and peaked in June before falling slightly in July. A pro tip could be, use your hands and use your eyes. When presenting charts, don't just read the numbers. Point to the lines or bars, make eye contact with the person and say what it means. For example, this peak here showed the best sales month. This drop was due to the holiday period. This part is where we launched the new product. Chart don't speak, but you do. Okay, now for our practice time, repeat with me, focus on pronunciation. Sales increased steadily from January to March. We saw a slight drop in May. Customer numbers remained stable during the summer. There was a sharp rise in revenue in Q4. The chart shows a gradual increase over 6 months. Now, finally, what have you learned today? Now you can talk about numbers, trends and charts without fear, and maybe even impress your manager. Of course, if you need help, you can find the full transcript for this lesson, useful phrases. I'm going to add extra material on the lesson, plus a practice quiz to check your progress on leventenglish.com. In lesson 18, the next one, we'll go into another essential skill, so how to write a clear and polite out-of-office message, short, useful and perfect for your next holiday or business trip. Okay, so stay with me. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.